Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Good to see you all again. I hope you're all keeping well and busy behind the camera best you can. Well, as you know, been doing a lot of landscapes just recently with no sport obviously, and one thing that I have noticed is that my camera bodies are filthy dirty, and I'm talking sensors. Obviously, like on this image here, a lot of landscapes are 2, 3, 4 tones, especially half of the frame can be just one tone, like a blue sky or whatever. And of course, all the dust spots stand out like a sore thumb. So, since I've been doing landscapes and bits and bobs, not so much woodland, but mainly landscapes, obviously, with the skies that are quite prominent, I have been pretty busy with the spot healing tool in Photoshop, taking out all the black dots, all the dirt on the sensor. So I thought, right, I've got to have a sensor clean. So I've picked out the dirtiest body, or the dirtiest sensor, this 1DX. I've got the 17 to 40 on, and I just thought I'd show you how I go through and clean my sensor. Right, well there's basically 3 ways of cleaning the sensor. The first is the easiest, is the old little blower. The second is the microfiber brush. And the third is the wet method, and that's obviously a bit of cleaning solution, sensor cleaning, and a swab. So what we'll do now, I'm going to show you a quick trick how I see how dirty my sensor is. So I've got the iMac screen set up, and I'm just going to use the white screen on notes. So I've got the notes, so as you can see I've got the white screen. Now I've set the focus in to infinity. I'm at 24mm just to escape any vignetting. I'm at 1 second exposure, f22. I'm at the highest aperture you can, obviously, to get that depth, to make sure that you see these spots, because obviously when you're doing landscape you're at a high f-stop, and to get that depth of field, and that's when all the dust spots obviously stick out like a sore thumb. So yep, so I'm at second exposure, f22, ISO 100. And now what I'm going to do is just point the camera at the white screen and just move it about, just to make sure that it doesn't pick up the cursor or anything, so it'll just be a blurred white screen. Obviously the dust isn't going to move because it's on the sensor, but so I'm just going to click now, move around a bit, and then there we are, nice white screen. So what I'm going to do now is download that onto the laptop, and then I'll show you how we check for the dust spots. Right, so I've got it loaded into Lightroom. Now, as you can see on here, I've chosen the clone tool, which is this tool here. So you choose the clone tool, and then bottom left of the frame is visualize spots. Now that inverses the frame, and then slide the arrow up and it reveals all your dust. And as you can see, my sensor is filthy. I have no idea what this is, but let's see if we can sort this out. So that's that done. What I'm going to do now, just turn the camera off a minute. So obviously most of your dust, it gathers when you're changing lenses out in the field, and as a rule, I'll always try and tip the body down when I'm changing lenses or whatever. But obviously we're going to clean this, so it's not going to matter too much. So I'm just going to turn it on. Now, obviously, on your mirrorless, you don't have a mirror to lift up, but go into menu. It's in the yellow section on the Canon, the spanner emblem, and then scroll through until you see sensor cleaning, into clean manually. Mirror will lock up, so just hit OK. There we are, it's locked up, and now as you can see, the sensor is slightly deeper than on the mirrorless obviously, but you can still get in. Now, this is the sensor kit. Obviously I'll put the link in the description below. It comes with swabs and also your solution. Obviously this is full frame kit. You can get different size swabs for obviously 4/3 and crop sensors, so just remember that when you're ordering your swab kit. But what I'm going to do first, obviously I said there was 3 ways that you can do it. Now the easiest, just take the body up, give it a blow. 2 or 3 blows. And then what we'll do is, we'll put the sensor down again. There we go. We'll put the lens on, we'll take another image, and we'll see if that's made much difference. Download that. Choose the clone tool again. visualise the spots. There's one or two disappeared, but not a lot. These are obviously quite ingrained on the sensor. I have no idea what that is. Now the second one is to use the microfiber brush. Now what I find quite handy is if you blow into it, it gives the brush lots of static. So I'm just blowing into that and it gives it lots of static. Now what you can do is gently wipe from one side to the other, and then just give it another blow. Give it another wipe. You can put a little bit of pressure onto the sensor, because it's not actually the sensor that you're touching. There's a thin layer of glass over the sensor, and that is what you're cleaning. Now obviously what you've got to bear in mind, if you've got mirrorless, you might have image stabilization built into your lens, into your body. So just check whether or not you've got your image stabilizer locked, because you can lock the image stabilization, which obviously then locks the shutter. Oh, and by the way, it is an easy process, as you'll see here, but I'm not liable if you make any mistakes, just to get that in. But it's an easy thing to do. But right, so I'm going to put the bodies back in. Let's put the mirror down, get the lens back on, and we'll take another image and see what that looks like. So here we go. Onto the clone tool, click visualize spots, and then knock the arrow up, and you can see that it's better, but it's still not great with that brush, and that is still there, so we need to do something with that definitely. So we've got to go for the swab. Now then, obviously you've got to keep these really clean. So we'll undo that. Pull that out. Don't drop it. And then I usually use 3 drops. So one in the middle, and then one on the other side, and that'll do. That'll do. That's nice and damp now. And then lay the camera down. Now, so you can put a bit of pressure on there, but just make sure if you're on mirrorless and you've got image stabilization that you lock that stabilization. So I'm going to go in, along and back. So let's put it in there, start at one end, a little bit of pressure, along, turn it over and back and out. So we'll leave that there. Because there's a bit of solution, we'll just let that dry a second. Right, let's get the lens on. Looks dry, can't see any smears. So we'll get that lens back on. I'll have another go. And although a lot of the dust has gone, a lot of the dust around here has gone, we've still got that mark there, and I have no idea what that is. So it looks like I'm going to have to do it again. Right, so that second swab has done the trick. I might have to give it a third go, but as you can see on the screen here, I've just downloaded it onto Lightroom. If I pull that slider right up, I've just got one dust spot there and one tiny dust spot there, which overall isn't too bad. I might give it another run through with obviously another swab, but that's 99% there. So hopefully that showed you how easy it is to do a sensor clean. I say there's obviously the blower and the brush, but I'd say 80% of the time the microfiber brush and the blower will clean your sensor, but because this was such a dirty sensor, I haven't had it done for ages, it was filthy and needed a couple of runs across with the swab. But anyway, job's a good one. Hope that's helped you out, guys. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below, and it's always great to hear from you guys and have a chat with you. So yeah, comment below. I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd appreciate that too. And yeah, brilliant, clean sensor, 2 more bodies to go, so I'll get on with them now. But thanks ever so much for watching, guys. Take care, catch up soon.